Dear Nigerians, finally we have reached the eve of the rescheduled first round of this year's general elections. Tomorrow, the polls open. Tomorrow, we affirm that Nigeria stands as a democracy and that no worldly hand can deter us from this wise and fitting path we have chosen for ourselves. While democracy is the most beneficial way to select a nation's leaders, it is far from the easiest thing to achieve and maintain. It requires a combination of patience, tolerance, compassion, diligence, wisdom, and hope. These traits exist in us, the Nigerian people. Because of who we are, democracy has the chance to flourish in this land. Thus, I commend all of you for your patience and peaceful conduct so far during this electoral season, and especially during this intervening week following the postponement of the February 16th elections. Many were worried and thought the worst might happen. You proved them wrong by showing that you are a great people with an abiding love for peace, democracy, and the unity of our country. According to the daily INEC public briefings given this week, the Electoral Commission says it is ready and fully prepared to conduct the election in a free, fair, and transparent manner. I believe INEC realizes the profound and weighty duty that rests upon it. We must cast aside doubt and have faith that INEC will rise to the occasion. We must believe and encourage INEC to fulfill and honor this responsibility it owes to our country. As you are present, I hereby ask all Nigerians with voting cards to participate in defining the future of our nation by exercising your democratic rights tomorrow. I urge you to go out and vote. I say this because elections are the cornerstone of representative governance, and voting constitutes the highest and best expression of the sovereign will of the people to choose the government that best represents them. It is only upon the freely expressed will of the people that government truly dedicated to the welfare, rights, and interests of the people can be founded. Do not allow anyone to discourage you from the exercise of your rights as citizens and voters tomorrow. To vote means that you believe in Nigeria and the excellent things the future holds for this nation and its people. No matter your political leanings, we all believe in Nigeria, in the noble principles for which it stands, and in the values we strive for our beloved nation to uphold. All who are able must vote so that we may better perfect this democracy and continue to build the greater nation we seek. Do not be afraid of rumors of violence and unrest. Our security agencies have worked diligently to ensure that adequate security measures are in place. You will be able to vote in an atmosphere of openness and peace, devoid of fear from threat or intimidation. International and domestic monitors and observers are assured of their safety and freedom of movement needed to perform their important functions. As we thank domestic monitors and observers for their contributions to our democracy, we also thank the international groups for the friendship and concern they have demonstrated to our nation. We appreciate their efforts in encouraging us to further entrench and strengthen our democracy. Tomorrow is an encounter with history in which you, the people, shall affirm your collective belief in our national greatness and in our future. I ask that you embrace and hold on to the importance of the moment soon to be upon us. Honor your civic duty as voters by going to the polls tomorrow to vote for the government of your choice, for the government that will lead Nigeria towards its finest destiny. As citizens, there is no greater duty than this and no greater honor.
Very clear-cut, straightforward judgment. So the APC candidates for the National Assembly elections will be on the ballot in Zamfara State.
APC faithful in Zamfara State can now breathe a sigh of relief as INEC complies with Court of Appeal order on fielding candidates for general elections.
We extend thanks, admiration, and gratitude to the Nigerian people.
Former Liberian President Salif gives kudos to Nigerians and its electoral umpire, calls for maturity in the electoral process on Saturday. President Muhammadu Buhari arrives Daura, his ancestral home, in high spirit, optimistic of credible election. Plus, Center for Crisis Communication identifies flashpoints in 6 geopolitical zones, urges security agencies to be professional and proactive in election crisis management. Good evening and welcome to the NTA Network News of the NTA. I am Juma Yusuf. Presenting with me from Lagos is Hingino John Adams. Thanks for joining us. Now, at last, candidates from the APC in Zamfara State have made it to the 2019 general elections as INEC and the police perfect all arrangements for the elections. The readiness of the two agencies was made known at the final press briefing of the INEC ahead of the polls. Mayor Ogidi reports.
80,000 vehicles, 996 speedboats, and aircrafts will be on election duty to shuttle the 119,973 polling units, as well as the 825,543 personnel, as INEC is sufficiently equipped to execute the polls February 23rd, being contested by 6,657 candidates in 3 categories.
Only INEC is empowered by law to declare election results. I urge everyone to refrain from issuing any result.
While 3 security personnel to man each polling unit, the tactical unit of the Nigerian police force will be around to forestall any violence, and movement will be restricted between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. on election day. However, for those who may attempt to snatch ballot boxes,
we'll work with the INEC officials to apprehend the culprits, and we've set up an investigative team led by our Commissioner of Police in charge of legal to investigate such cases and prosecute them.
On the issue of alleged arrest of candidates participating in the elections in Kwara and Kano states,
it's not just because he belongs to a political party or is a candidate for election that he was arrested. No, it's just because of the murder that took place. 2 people were killed in Kwara. In the same way in Kano,
the Zamfara State chapter of the APC narrowly got admitted to participate in the elections as Court of Appeal in Abuja rules in the party's favor.
It's a very clear-cut, straightforward judgment. We have since complied, and we have also issued a statement. So the APC candidates for the National Assembly elections will be on the ballot in Zamfara State, and also they will be on the ballot in Zamfara State for the governorship and state assembly elections.
In politics, every second counts, and everyone is keeping vigil to 8 a.m. February 23rd to cast the ballot, all things being equal. Mayor Ogidi, NT News.
Meanwhile, Nigerians have been commended for the way they have dealt with the postponement of the 2019 general elections and have been urged to demonstrate this level of maturity as they go to the polls this Saturday. Dennis Adegunloye reports that former Liberian president and head of the ECOWAS election observer mission, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who gave the commendation, also reserved special mention for the Independent National Electoral Commission for regularly keeping the public updated in efforts at addressing challenges that led to the postponement.
Admiration and gratitude to the Nigerian people for their patience in the face of the last-minute interruptions to their lives. We have watched the progress of INEC over the past week, working together with domestic and international partners in addressing the logistical and technical challenges. We are pleased that these operational constraints have been significantly addressed, thus creating a conducive atmosphere for tomorrow's general elections.
The signing of the 2019 National Peace Accord, she believes, is a further demonstration of the commitment of Nigeria to democracy, and the former Liberian president re-emphasized Nigeria's role in maintaining peace in the West African sub-region. President Muhammadu Buhari is in his ancestral home, Daura, in Katsina State, ahead of the rescheduled presidential and National Assembly elections slated for Saturday. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the Nigerian leader is in high spirits.
The Nigerian Air Force 001 aircraft conveying President Muhammadu Buhari touched down at Umaru Musa Yar'Adua International Airport, Katsina, at about 3:45 Friday afternoon. On hand to receive the president, accompanied by his wife Aisha, was a high-powered Katsina State government delegation led by Governor Aminu Bello Masari. Also at the airport were the Minister of State for Aviation, Hadi Sirika, members of the National and Katsina State Assemblies, as well as other personalities from all walks of life. President Buhari then proceeded to the ancient town of Daura by chopper, where he was also given a rousing reception by his kith and kin. At the head of the welcoming party was the Emir of Daura, Umar Faruk Umar. President Buhari is expected to lead members of the nation's first family on Saturday to exercise their democratic rights at Kofar Baru polling unit 003 in the rescheduled presidential and National Assembly elections. From Daura, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Still with the presidency, President Muhammadu Buhari has commended the resilience of Nigerians as the elections opened on Saturday. In a nationwide broadcast, the president urged the electorate to exercise their civic responsibility without hindrance. Usman Aliwu reports.
As you are president, I hereby ask all Nigerians whose voting...
President Muhammadu Buhari speaks to the nation ahead of the first round of 2019 general elections, beginning with presidential and national assembly election. 73 candidates are vying for the presidential race. The president expressed delight with the way Nigerians received the shock of the election postponement last week without surrendering to complacency.
I commend all of you for your patience and peaceful conduct so far during this electoral season, and especially during this intervening week following the postponement of the February 16th elections. Many were worried and thought the worst might happen. You proved them wrong by showing that you are a great people with an abiding love for peace, democracy, and the unity of our country.
He appealed to citizens to disregard rumors of any kind, particularly security issues, saying everything has been done to ensure a peaceful atmosphere for the elections.
Do not be afraid of rumors of violence and unrest. Our security agencies have worked diligently to ensure that adequate security measures are in place. You will be able to vote in an atmosphere of openness and peace, devoid of fear from threat or intimidation.
He also hopes that Nigerians will give the electoral umpire the necessary support to discharge its duties with fairness and justice.
I believe INEC realizes the profound and weighty duty that rests upon it. We must cast aside doubt and have faith that INEC will rise to the occasion. We must believe and encourage INEC to fulfill and honor this responsibility it owes to our country.
President Buhari, while urging voters to participate fully by coming out to elect the candidate of their choice, assured the international and domestic observers of freedom to monitor the elections. Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
And with me in the studio to further shed light on President Muhammadu Buhari's broadcast is a public affairs analyst, Mr. Jide Ojo. You're welcome to Network News.
Thanks for having me. Good evening, Nigerians.
On a general note, how would you appraise President Buhari's broadcast on the eve of the elections?
It was very presidential, if I can use that word. He came across as somebody who is a patriot who wants to leave a lasting legacy of the most credible elections in the political history of Nigeria. He is mindful of the fact that history beckons. Win or lose, he wanted to be remembered on the positive side of history. You know, ordinarily he should have joined in castigating INEC and, dampening the morale of Nigerians, but he's there, urging people to come out and vote and reassuring the foreign and domestic observers like us of our safety and security while the election is on. So, I mean, he's been able to douse a lot of tension, and he has encouraged us not to listen to fake news, particularly of insecurity and all of that. So I think it's highly desirable and quite patriotic of him to have done what he did.
In his broadcast, the president said everything has been put in place to ensure peaceful atmosphere during the election. What do you think of this? Do you think we're going to go to the polls in a very peaceful atmosphere and vote?
That's our expectation. I've also gone around earlier today as part of the domestic observer team to assess pre-election activities, and what we saw was a very peaceful atmosphere. Things are moving up, and INEC is giving us updates on daily basis. And the last address by the INEC chairman, as you said in your earlier report, shows that the commission is on top of the preparations. Things are set, and we are hoping for a peaceful and successful elections tomorrow.
So as a political analyst, what's the body language of Nigerians, and what message do you have for the voters as they go to vote tomorrow?
Well, my message to the voter is, please, let's be peaceful. Let's come out en masse. It's our civic right. We have waited 4 years to be able to do this. The time is now. Unfortunately, 11 million people will not be participating because they didn't collect their PVC or didn't have opportunity to do so. But at least for the 72 million of us who have collected our PVC, my words of advice is that we should come out en masse from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow and be very orderly. Yes, you can stay around the polling unit after you have cast your ballot, but stay at a very safe distance. Don't crowd up the polling unit. If you have exercised your franchise, just stay safe, stay at a very good distance to watch proceedings. The law is on your side to watch, but it's not to disrupt. So polling agents too, I still appeal to them, as I've done in recent past, to be very orderly. Yes, the law is also on the side of polling agents to oversee proceedings from distribution to polling to collation, but they should not be disruptive. They should know that we hold this nation our duty to ensure that this election goes down in history as the most peaceful, most credible, and most successful election in the political history of Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. Jide Ojo. Mr. Jide Ojo is a public affairs analyst. Thank you so much for coming on Network News.
My pleasure. Always.
Moving on, Nigeria must take advantage of its diversity as a strength by living together in peace, irrespective of religious and ethnic differences, especially as they are set to vote in the general elections. United Arab Emirates Ambassador to Nigeria, Fahad Mohammed Obeid Al-Tafaq, said this when he visited the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja Diocese, John Cardinal Onayekon in Abuja. Adebola Broxlin Sunday reports.
Nigeria, like the United Arab Emirates, has two major religions, Christianity and Islam. The ambassador is in the Catholic Pro Cathedral to strengthen the bond between his country and Nigeria.
Dialogue.
Ambassador Fahad Mohammed Obeid Al-Tafaq said religious tolerance is the key to peaceful coexistence, which will in turn translate into national development, and that the United Arab Emirates has declared 2019 the year of religious tolerance.
We know that the Nigerian people are full of hope, they are full of determination, and they would like to see a prosperous and bright future.
We should go beyond tolerance to mutual acceptance and mutual respect.
And on the fight against corruption, the diplomat affirmed that his country has ratified agreement with Nigeria, which was facilitated by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2016.
They are legally binding, and we are considering Nigeria as a friend, as a colleague, and we will definitely be always cooperating.
He also urged Nigerians to conduct themselves peacefully during and after the 2019 general elections.
We hope that the elections are fair, credible and safe for Nigerians, because they deserve a bright future and they deserve good elections.
Have a good reason for voting for whomever you are voting. And after voting, be gentle.
The United Arab Emirates has about 70 worship places and calls the country a land of God where religion are practiced freely. These analysts believe has helped them to turn deserts to a polished garden. Adebola Broxlin Sunday, NTA News.
FRSC and Army War College synergize on capacity building of officers, just as NDLEA naps BVC thief in Akwa Ibom State. Details after the break. Stay tuned.
Imagine the most sophisticated area in Africa having the highest potential. I am Chinoye Okonkwo, one of the first internationally certified female welders in Nigeria, trained by Samsung Heavy Industries. To me, working on the world's largest FPSO means showing the world the true potential of the Nigerian workforce. People said that this wasn't something for a woman, but I enjoy a beauty in creating something for yourself. Just like me, thousands of Nigerians received world-class training to become skilled engineering workforce. It shows that investing in a local workforce can impact not just a business or individuals, but an entire country. I now realize that the biggest hurdle we need to overcome are the limits in our own minds.
Life evolves. You should too. 3G is great. 4G is better. Buy an Airtel SIM to enjoy double data on Nigeria's widest 4G network.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
To anyone who ever pushed me to go further.
Come on, one more.
To anyone who ever gave me a hand up. To anyone who ever taught me anything I ever learned. To those who work together to set the bar higher. To those who give me the energy to go further. This is my team, and my team makes me.
This is NTA Network News coming to you live from Abuja. With less than 24 hours to go for the rescheduled presidential and National Assembly elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission has reassured Nigerians of a free, fair and credible elections. Guests on Good Morning Nigeria say the one-week extension has enabled INEC to take care of its operational challenges that made the commission to reschedule the elections. Alika Opanachi Arua has details.
As the polls for Saturday's elections open to enable Nigerians to exercise their franchise, guests on Good Morning Nigeria are encouraging the electorate to go out en masse to cast their vote without any fear or intimidation.
Every material that is due to go to a particular place is on that place in the right quantities and quality.
The current INEC chair is a man of history, and so tomorrow should actually really further affirm him as a man of history.
We also are supporting INEC and praying that INEC gets its rights.
ACP Frank Oba says all security measures are in place in all polling units to ensure a hitch-free election.
If there's any politician out there, or if there's any unscrupulous Nigerian out there who is thinking or making plans to deploy fake policemen or fake soldiers or fake operatives from any other security agency, the person is doing so at his or her own peril.
The guests also appealed to political gladiators to shun all electoral offences and cooperate with INEC and security agencies for a peaceful conduct of the elections. In Abuja, Alika Opanachi, Arua, NTA News.
And now to security matters on the general elections. The Taraba State Command of the Nigerian Immigration Service has deployed about 300 of its personnel to border communities in the state to prevent foreigners from interfering with the 2019 polls. The State Comptroller, Usman Babangida, made this known in Jalingo. Joseph Austin has details.
Many illegal routes along the Nigerian borders, especially in the northern part of the country, have led to illegal migration of people and goods. Some of the security challenges confronting the country have been attributed to these unlawful acts. As the country gets set for the 2019 general elections, the Nigerian Immigration Service is taking steps to prevent foreigners from interfering with the polls by deploying well-equipped personnel to border communities. Taraba State Command says it has already deployed about 300 of its staff.
These officers are armed. You know, the rule is you don't allow officers to go with arms at the polling units. It has to be about 300 meters away from the polling units. So we have set our own armed squads. We call it rapid response, so that they will be able to attend to any challenge posed by non-Nigerians, if at all they intend to come in or to participate in the election.
State Comptroller Usman Babangida reveals that the immigration personnel are directed to restrict movement at the borders from Friday 12 noon to Sunday 12 noon to prevent foreigners penetrating into the country to participate in the elections. For the welfare of the staff, customized food packs and first aid boxes, among other valuable materials, were distributed to them. In Jalingo, Joseph Sound O10, NTA News.
Meanwhile, all relevant security agencies have been fully mobilized for peaceful and orderly conduct of the presidential and National Assembly elections in the Federal Capital Territory. Kama reports.
Officers and men of the Federal Road Safety Commission are as ready as other security agencies to ensure a violence-free elections.
And of course, our men are taking full part in these elections, and that is why we invited them for briefing before the elections tomorrow. If you don't have any business to be out with your vehicle, please keep it at home. Even if it is 20 kilometers trek, once 0600 hours is there, we're not allowed free movement of vehicles within the FCT to 1800 hours.
The FCT commander says the corps will combine forces with the police, Civil Defense Corps, VIO, and the fire service.
The rank and file of security personnel have been mobilized here at the old parade ground to get them adequately prepared for the maintenance of law and order before, during, and after the 2019 polls. Kama, NTA News.
In another development, the Federal Road Safety Corps says it is ready to synergize with other security agencies on capacity building of its officers. The Corps Marshal Boboye Oyeyemi reiterated this at a meeting with the Commandant, Army War College, Major General Charles Ofoche. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
Though with different uniforms and roles, the connection here is the security of lives. With this front, the synergy is on ways of building the capacity of their staff, as well as collaboration for effective service delivery, especially towards nation building.
Every person, every individual should participate in nation building, and we all have our own spheres that we handle and cope with. And I believe that with more collaboration, most of the issues we face daily can be better addressed.
I would believe that with this capacity building, the Army War College, I believe we should have a module for training for the participants so that they can know something about the uniform licensing scheme, on the driver's license, on the number plates, on the signage. We have a lot of officers who can come and deliver the lecture so that you can incorporate this into your modules so that the participant can know how do you check for stolen vehicles, how do you check for valid driver's license.
Of utmost importance to the Army Commandant is the need to constantly review the Nigerian Highway Code, and the Corps Marshal assured that from July this year, all federal roads will be installed with appropriate codes. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Now, the Center for Crisis Communication, CCC, says in its mid-February collation and dissemination of data on crisis and crisis situation across the country, it has identified flashpoints in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country, which includes Kano, Kaduna, Kwara, Kogi, Imo, and Akwa Ibom State. A statement by the Executive Secretary Air Commodore Yusuf Anas indicates that CCC, which is actively involved in collecting, collating, processing, harmonizing and disseminating information on any crisis or potential crisis situation in Nigeria, notes with concern the overheating of the polity by politicians due to the postponement of the Presidential and National Assembly and other elections by Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. The center therefore urges all security agencies deployed for elections to be proactive and conduct themselves professionally by carrying out their duties with absolute neutrality, devoid of bias, while the media and civil society organizations should continue to monitor and keep Nigerians abreast before, during and after the elections. The CCC works in close liaison with military, security, intelligence and response agency in Nigeria. Chairman of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Colonel Muhammad Abdullah, says operatives of the agency in Mbo local government area of Akwa Ibom State have arrested one Okun Basi and recovered from him 244 permanent voters' cards belonging to different people and a sum of 310,000 naira. In a statement, Colonel Abdullah indicates that the operatives also arrested 120 suspected hard drug dealers found to be in possession of 51 kilograms of cannabis, 259 kilograms of heroin, 17 kilograms of cocaine, 500 kilograms of Team Ari diazepam and other hard drugs. Colonel Abdullah said the suspected PVC thief has been handed over to INEC for further investigation, while others caught with hard drugs have been charged to court. In another development, the Center for Transparency, Advocacy and Accredited Election Observer Group has opened its Situation Room, thanking Nigerians for believing in the Nigerian project as they participate in the rescheduled presidential and National Assembly elections. Timothy Yusuf was at the Observer Group's Situation Room for the election in Abuja and now reports.
The Center for Transparency Advocacy has deployed already trained 1,000 domestic observers across the 774 local government areas of Nigeria for an on-the-spot and credible reports on the election day. This is part of the group's mandate to keep the public and citizens abreast with statistical information before and after the elections.
The Nigerian project is a responsibility for all of us. It is our right to vote and ensure that we put people who would represent us. When you go out to vote, also try and be as civil as possible.
Anybody who is not yet aware that Nigerian citizens are enthusiastic about this election should look at the contribution of 14 million voters into the voter register.
The Center for Transparency Advocacy believes that election management in Nigeria has greatly improved over the years. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
Still on election matters, what is the situation like in Lagos Zone? Hingino is our guide. Hello, Hingino.
Thank you, Jimmy, and welcome to Lagos. The presidential and National Assembly elections are a few hours away and Nigerians are anxious to cast their ballots. Rotimi Oluwagbemi visited specific spots in Lagos to feel the pulse of the electorate.
This is Ajegule, popularly known as AJ City. I tried to find out for tomorrow's presidential and National Assembly elections.
We are well prepared for tomorrow's election. So far, the INEC have promised that the election will hold tomorrow. So everybody are well prepared.
I've got my PVC and I'm prepared to vote tomorrow by God's grace.
I'm preparing for this election. If I have my PVC with me here,
I'm Nigerian, I will vote. I must vote.
Have you got your PVC?
Everything is in my hand.
Go and vote tomorrow, Abby. So we're all ready for it.
I'm quite preparing because at least I'll be coming out to vote tomorrow.
We prepare for election and we are afraid to make election be peacefully.
Yes.
Prepare very hot. Very hot, in fact, I prepare well tomorrow.
Residents of Ijorabada also said they are all set to go to the polls.
Me and my family, we have already prepared for tomorrow election.
Don't get my PVC tomorrow, so I will vote.
We are ready. We encourage people to appear fully and come out fully and vote from whoever you have in mind to be our president. The Independent National Electoral Commission has directed the commencement of voting by 8 a.m. nationwide tomorrow. In Lagos, Rotimi Oluwagbemi, NTA News.
Airlines operated normal flight schedules at the domestic wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. Some passengers traveling to various parts of the country commended the federal government for the holiday. Michael Olale, who visited the airport, also brings us up to speed at some motor parks in Lagos.
This is the domestic wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, and in spite of the public holiday declared to enable prospective voters travel to their various locations and exercise their franchise, activities are at low air.
The traffic is very moderate. People are very calm, and there's no cause for alarm.
Our flight was actually postponed by 3.5 hours.
The discount arrangements put in place by airlines for prospective voters is still on, but very few passengers are taking advantage of it.
I had about a 50% rebate, but I didn't explore the opportunity.
Meanwhile, major motor parks within the metropolis had average turnout of travelers who took advantage of the no-work day to journey to locations where they registered to vote.
Our motor don't go today like 3 vehicles, and then our guy tell us to reduce the price. They go along, they go first to tomorrow.
Political watchers project that more than 5 million Lagos voters will converge on the various polling centers to exercise their franchise. In Lagos, Michael Olale, NT News.
That's our contribution from Lagos Network Center. Network News continues after this break.
These say picture quality, but never mention the most important color, black. It uncovers the hidden details of nature, brings out the richness in all colors, and reveals life. With self-lighting pixels, only OLED TVs make perfect black, and perfect black creates perfect color. LG OLED TV.
Munch it, got a tasty, crunchy feeling. Munch it, gotta munch it every day. Munch it, just give me the super snack. Munch it, oh irresistible. Munch it, makes me wanna say one munch, two munch, don't stop munch. Munch it is here, irresistible. One munch, two munch, don't stop munch.
Try a pack of Munch It snack at 50 naira.
Helen!
Hey, where's your mom?
Today is her toilet day.
What?
Helen!
Toilet day?
Tomorrow you're hosting a party and it's a matter of my reputation.
Even if you spend your entire day cleaning with all this, it still won't be party ready.
Impossible!
Challenge? New Ticker Harpic 10X. Even if you use this solution 10 times, it won't give you the same cleaning like Harpic, because its new Ticker formulation sticks to the bowl better, giving you a sparkling clean toilet.
Wow!
New Harpic 10X
gives me the freedom from toilet day.
Sensitivity is a short pain which occurs when teeth are exposed to hot, cold, or acidic things. Cold water from the fridge would trigger off sensitivity. What I would say to the patient is switch to Sensodyne, make it your daily toothpaste. Over a period of time would reduce tooth sensitivity. And a lot of them come back to thank me, to say that, wow, it's just something so simple. It adds the sparkle back into their life.
Relieve tooth sensitivity with Sensodyne Daily Care 40 milligrams for just 350 naira only.
Team huddle.
But we lost.
Don't be tired, guys. This isn't a loss. It's a practice for winning.
Nothing makes a mother prouder than seeing her child growing up. But I know as he learns to lead, he'll face even more dirt, germs, and risk of illness.
That's why in changing seasons, you need strong Dettol protection. Because Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Growing up needs Dettol Protect.
I thought leaving the country was the best decision for me and my future.
I left for a better life.
We were picked up by immigration officials and sent to a detention camp.
I spent 8 months in the detention camp.
There was no food, no water.
I saw people being beaten like animals.
Some women were raped. Some women were sold as slaves.
I thought I would never see my loved ones again.
I have made the biggest mistake of my life.
I have wasted all my savings.
I have to start all over again.
Migration is a human phenomenon which cannot be stopped. But if we choose to migrate, we advocate that it should be done in a safe, orderly, regular and dignified way, and not in a dangerous and tortuous manner.
This message is brought to you by the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons.
You are watching NTA Network News. Now, the Nigerian Navy ship NNS Bancroft has arrested a wooden Cotonou boat at Akaraba seaside area of Atlas Cove, Lagos, laden with 1,400 jerrycans of 25 liters of suspected PMS valued at 5,075,000 naira. The seized boat also contains 75 horsepower outboard engines valued at 50 million naira. The arrest by the Navy represents a major achievement of its constitutional mandate and a setback to the logistic infrastructure of maritime criminals, says the Commander NNS Bancroft, Rear Admiral Okon Eo. He says the base will continue to dominate the nation's waterways to prevent the theft of Nigeria's commonwealth. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Navy Reference Hospital Calabar has signed a memorandum of understanding with the University of Calabar Teaching Hospital to train manpower in order to optimize provision of health services to the people. Still on security matters, Colonel Onyema Nwachukwu has assumed office as the new acting director of Defense Information at the Defense Headquarters. He takes over from Brigadier John Agim. The move is part of efforts targeted at ensuring a well-motivated, trained and responsive force committed to national security. Gufan Shaji has details.
Carrying out his final official engagement, not only as the Director of Defense Information, but also as a serving officer of the Nigerian Armed Forces, Brigadier General John Agim hands over to Colonel Onyema Nwachukwu, the new acting director, Defense Information. Having risen to the peak of his career, the outgoing spokesman says this feat cannot be taken for granted.
The task of managing the image and reputation of the armed forces is very important, but quite challenging. This is because the activities and nature of military operations are one that have far-reaching implications for the nation and its citizens.
Reminding the media and public relations professionals that publicity has often helped fuel acts of terrorism, the new acting director, Defense Information, Colonel Onyema Nwachukwu, says this trend must not be allowed to thrive as it is a threat to national development.
It is therefore pertinent to work hands in gloves to deny our common adversary the oxygen of publicity and crush the grandiose ego of terrorism.
He further reiterated that no military operation can truly succeed without the media and public support. In Abuja, Gufan Shaji, NTA News.
Another break beckons. Do stay.
Mass Medical Mission has finally done it, ensuring that the prevention of cancer and cancer-related ailments is available to you right where you are. Our mobile cancer center, also known as Pink Cruise, is equipped with relevant state-of-the-art medical equipment to serve you wherever you are. All you have to do is apply for the Pink Cruise to come to your community or organization by sending a request to info@pinkcruise.org. Remember to suggest 3 alternative dates when you will prefer the Pink Cruise to come to conduct free preventive health care at your doorstep, including checking your body, your eyes, and your teeth. For more information on the Pink Cruise and how to take advantage of it, please log on to www.pinkcruise.org or visit us at the MMM House, number 31 Abode Thomas Street, Surulere, Lagos, or call 0805-633-4288. Mission Pink Cruise, taking wellness to all.
Thanks for staying. Venezuela's embattled President Nicolas Maduro has ordered the closure of its border with Brazil as a result of a row over foreign humanitarian, and reports indicate that the leftist leader went on television to say he was also considering shutting the border with Colombia to stop the opposition from bringing in relief. He, however, denies any crisis and calls the aid delivery plans a United States orchestrated show. Meanwhile, opposition leader Juan Guaido is leading a convoy from the capital Caracas to the Colombian border. A concert is to be held on the Colombian side of the border to raise money for Venezuela. At the same time, Mr. Maduro's government will hold its own event just 300 meters away. Nigeria Customs women's volleyball team fine-tuned plans for African Club Championship with Chelsea against Dynamo Kiev in Europe League round of 16. Amaze Marcus has more on sports update.